Hey, what's going on, guys? Kezon McNeill here. I'm talking to you today about resume hacks. How do we get that resume to stand out? What are some of the do's and don'ts when, before posting your resume, etc. So I'll jump right into it. Okay. One thing I do not want you to do anymore, if you're doing it, stop it. It ends today. Is take your LinkedIn profile off of your resume. Please take it off of your resume. All right. This is why I want you to do that, because if you watch some of my previous episodes here where we talk about getting a job and applying for a job or what have you, you may have a different resume for various jobs, right? So it's not unnatural to have 3 or 4 different resumes, because if you're smart, you are updating your resume to read to the job you want, right? Or the job that you're applying for, okay? So if you have a LinkedIn profile and people check your LinkedIn profile out because you put the link on your resume, it may not add up with the resume that you have updated for this particular job. Now, in some cases, people are going to just take your name and go to LinkedIn and look at it anyway, but we don't want to just give them the information where they can go right to your LinkedIn. I've seen many employers or many recruiters not call someone just because they feel like the profile in their LinkedIn was fraudulent or didn't match up with the resume they sent, and that's just crazy, right? So keep that LinkedIn profile off your resume. All right, next, having a picture on your resume. Get rid of the picture. We do not need a picture. Please take the picture off your resume. Promise me you're going to do that today. Delete that picture off your resume. We don't want to give employers any type of leverage to not call you. All right. And just being honest, some recruiters, they're not calling you if they know you're a female. They're not calling you if they know you're African American. They're not calling you if they know you're Latino. They might not even call you if they know you are Caucasian. So we don't want to give them a leg up to discriminate, period. Okay, so take the LinkedIn profile off your resume. Take your picture off your resume. You guys write that down if you didn't get it, or if you're following along, you got your computer up, just do that right now so you don't forget. Now let's kind of jump into the next topic, your address. Take your mailing address off of your resume. Do that ASAP. This is why you do not want to have your mailing address on your resume. The number one reason is because employers can discriminate. They can assume or decide for you that, that job is too far away for you. You're not going to want to commute 45 minutes a day. But I always say, how do they even know that? What if you're commuting an hour and a half one way every day? And this job could be closer to your home, right? Or what if you're looking to move to that area and your current address is going to change? So we don't want to give them any ammunition to decide for us as to if we want an opportunity or not, right? So please take your address off of that resume ASAP. What you should have listed on your resume is your name, your contact number, preferably a cell phone number. You don't need a cell and a home, because most cases you're not home anyway. Most cases you're at work, and if you are at home, you answer your home line, but just put your cell phone on your resume. All right. If you don't have a cell phone, obviously, keep your home number on there. But you need your name, your cell phone number, or best contact number for you. You don't need 3 or 4 numbers, right? And then you also need an email address. So when it comes to an email address, let's get rid of the whole your cool email addresses that you may have for your personal use. Some people might have ravensfan21@gmail or Barbie doll Lovelace at whatever. We don't want to present an image like that, because I'll tell you, these employers and recruiters, they'll see that email, what the heck is that? And they won't call you just because of that. Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but this is another way for employers to have a reason not to call you. So what I highly recommend you do is get an email very simple as your first name dot last name at whatever. If that's taken, your first name dot last name and maybe 2 numbers. Figure it out until you can find an email that's available, but have a professional email. And if you already have one, great, good for you. right? But get rid of those crazy emails. But just to recap here, all I want you to do is have your name, your phone number, best contact number. You don't need 3 or 4 numbers. And please do not list your work number on your resume. So you need your name, a best contact number for you. In most cases, it's your cell phone, okay? And your email address. That's it, all right? That just making these little small tweaks, you're gonna find that it's going to lead to a lot more activity, you know, from these job boards, et cetera, or just when you apply to jobs, because people now, they can't just eliminate you off just small things, boom, boom. They gotta really look at your resume now. They gotta really look at it. So make sure you make those 3 hacks, you know, as well as the LinkedIn profile. Get rid of that, and the headshot picture. Please get rid of that, right? So as it relates to, this is probably a really common sense thing for most people, but I want to say it anyway. Proofread your resume. You know, if you're smart and you're applying for a job, you know, make sure you update your resume for that job. And what I mean by that simply is, if it's let's say for example, a business analyst, right? And you look at the job description and it has these details, et cetera, et cetera. You wanna, and you are a business analyst, you wanna update it to read to that job description. And that could mean some of the skills they're asking for, some of the tools that they're using. If you're using those tools, show it not just in your skills, but show it within your job description of what you're doing now. So it's very natural for people to have 3 or 4 different resumes, you know? So please make sure you proofread your resume to update it to the job that you're applying for. And make sure you look for spell check. Check the spelling, you know. And a lot of times it's not you, but it's the computer has a better idea of a word, or a computer wants to have a capital letter here and this, that, and the third. So just proofread your resume, you know, just to make sure that it's all tidy. Now, length of resume, you know, there's an old school way of it, there's a new school way, you know. Up until I would say probably 2003, you know, people only had a 2-page resume. That's it. You got everything out the way in 2 pages, because that's what employers were. They didn't want to see all this stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how it was then. But in today's time, now a resume, I think at the length of maybe 3 pages is okay. All right, I don't think you need to go beyond 3 pages. So remember that, you do not need to go beyond 3 pages. 2 pages is still good, but if you got to go 3 pages, perfect. Don't dribble into 4, all right? Because for those of you who are already into your professional career and you have more than 10 years experience, most employers really only want to see 10 to 15 years of experience as it relates to the job that they're looking to interview you for. So you don't need to go back to 1989, you know, showing, you know, where you started your career out and all that. You don't need to do all that. And another reason why you don't want to go back too far is because we don't want to allow these companies to discriminate against you. What I mean by that, now I'm talking about age discrimination, you know, because someone could say, let's say they have their resume from 1985 up to today, right? So somebody can look at that and they can say, oh, well, this person's XYZ years old. They're at least 60 years old, right? We don't want a 55, 57 years old. They can kind of figure that out, and they can be like, oh, that person's gonna be too old for us. Now they've eliminated you without even talking to you. You know what I mean? So I recommend, depending on how many years of experience they're asking for the opportunity, or even if they aren't, if you have more than 20 years experience, you only need to go back maybe 13, 14 years. That's it. So those other jobs don't matter at this point, is what I'm saying to you. Yes, you have the experience, you know, in your summary, you can say, you know, over 15, 16 years experience. If you have 30, you don't need to list 30. You know, keep it around 15. But as far as going back on your resume, keep it at 14, 15 years max. You know, you don't need to do all that. And another important detail as it relates to your resume is going to be when you list your college graduation, right? So if you graduated from the great Central State like I did, you're not going to put graduated from Central State University, BS degree, whatever, and 1998. No, you don't put the year. Just put Bachelor of Science or whatever it is from whatever school, right? Do not put the year you graduated. Why? You know why? Because it gives recruiters and hiring managers alike a way to discriminate against you. I'm just being 100% honest with you guys. From someone who's been in the industry since 1998 myself, companies will assume you're too old, or they'll assume, they just assume so many things when you add the years on there. Okay, so take the years off of the year you graduated, take that off your resume. Okay, please do that. Another thing on your resume is, and we already talked about spell check, I can't stress that enough, but another thing I want you guys to think about as you're updating your resume, making sure you get those typos, etc., is keep it 3 pages max. Maximum 3 pages. Maximum 3 pages, all right? And if you do that, you're gonna start to notice that you're gonna get more phone calls when you're applying for these jobs. You're gonna also have that lead to more interviews, and what will lead to more offers. Okay, so make sure you use these little resume hacks, guys. I'm telling you, it'll make all the difference in the world for you trying to secure that next job. Now we're going to talk about job boards a little bit here. All right, so a lot of you add your resume to this job board, that job board, that job board, and that job board, and then you just kind of sit back and you wait for the phone to ring. All right, that may work for 1 week. Okay, and then you may notice week 2 and week 3, man, I'm only getting 1 call a week when I was getting 3 or 4 calls a week, and it's really not because your resume it sucks. It's because you may have started on page 1 and 2 of the job board, but now you're on page 60. And to be honest with you, unless you have some type of unique skill set, recruiters usually find their candidate within the first 2 pages of a job search on a job board. All right, so how do we stay on page 1 and 2? What you want to do is this. You want to get online every Sunday evening, okay? You're about to great start your work week, so every Sunday evening, just log on to everywhere you have your resume listed and simply just update your resume. I don't mean rewrite it. I mean, you're going to change, maybe you change the salary range. Maybe you change a few words in the resume, just something very small, it could be 1 word. And then you refresh that resume online. The system recognizes it as a new resume. So now they do what? They push you back to page 1 and 2. That tip right there alone, guys, that makes all the difference in the world in you getting your phone to ring, which is going to lead to more opportunities, more interviews, and then what? More offers. All right, so guys, I hope these tips that I share with you today prove to be very valuable to you. If you like what you saw today on the channel, please hit the like button, crush the like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And also, please share this content with anyone that you know that may be in the job market right now. There are a lot of talented people out here, and they may not have had to get a job for a while. So they're trying to figure it out. Sometimes people are kind of proud to ask for help with things as simple as a resume. But these little tips that I'm giving you today will make all the difference in the world with you securing that next job. And as always, guys, run your race.